So you can start for our gentle practice wherever you feel comfortable. I'm going to start seated, but you're welcome to start seated or reclining or sitting up on something, block, bolster, even a chair. We'll take a few moments and breaths to really draw ourselves inward, and like we do in every class, arriving, centering, noticing all those kind of mindfulness activities to prepare for our practice. Sometimes as soon as you get on the mat, the body kind of sighs out a little bit like mine just did, as it builds that kind of muscle memory or even brain memory of I'm on my mat and it's time to settle. So you might close your eyes here, keep them nice and soft. And as you draw yourself in, letting the breath flow smoothly, gently, in and out through the nose, if possible. And while softening the breath, also lengthening and deepening the breath. And you might set an intention or a focus for your practice, bringing that to your mind. Anything at all. Remembering to really notice what's going on in the body as you move throughout the class, because what's gentle to me may or may not be gentle to you, and vice versa. So feel free to make things a little bit bigger for yourself or smaller for yourself, depending on what you need to keep it gentle, if a gentle practice is what you're after. So as we take a few more smooth breaths in and out through the nose, notice anything in the body, anything in your energy, anything drawing your attention in any way that it's drawing your attention. Maybe it's places that feel tight or tense, or maybe it's places that feel open and ready to receive. And then as you begin to find any movement that feels good from wherever you started, so whether you're seated or lying back, just find some gentle, soft movements. No right or wrong answers. They might be some stretches or wiggles. And if you started lying down, you can eventually make your way up. But again, there's no rush to get there. If you started seated, you might want to stretch the legs out or take feet to the floor, find some windshield wipers, and then we'll find a comfortable seat again. And if you started seated, you might want to switch up your legs and put the other leg in front or on top, or maybe take soles of the feet together in a butterfly position. So again, you might be sitting up on a blanket, especially if you feel as you sit on the floor, you kind of collapse back into the low back, but we want to see if we can get your nice natural curves of your spine. So pelvis neutral, low back neutral, upper back neutral. Notice if you're leaning in and see if you can get shoulders over hips, back of the head in line. Take a few moments lengthening through the crown of the head as you inhale. And then as you exhale, can you lengthen even more? So feel this rise of energy even though you're exhaling. So it's a release of the breath, but a rise of energy. And then we'll drop your right ear to your right shoulder, stretching out through the left side of the neck. A few breaths as if you could breathe right into the left side of the neck there. And then we'll bring the hands to the left side of the chest and just kind of pull with your fingertips down, giving that front of the shoulder and the chest muscles a little massage, maybe getting up into that left side of the neck. Really gentle here, maybe the jaw. And just kind of noticing any tightness. If you feel a spot that feels extra tight, you can use your fingerprints to go a little bit more deep into that spot. And then we'll drop chin to chest. And then we'll rotate, let your left ear come towards your left shoulder. And again, just kind of noticing the right side of the neck here for a moment. And then we'll bring the hands to that right side of the chest, the right front of the shoulder, and a little pull down with your fingerprints. Maybe getting up into the jaw, maybe not, maybe the collarbone area. And again, if there's a spot that feels like it needs a little extra, maybe a couple circles with your 3 or 4 fingers. And then we'll drop chin to chest. And then rolling your shoulders up, back and down, even as your chin is down toward your chest. And as you bring your head back up to neutral, a few more shoulder circles going back. And bring hands to heart center, nice deep breath in. Really lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, take a twist to the left. You can drop your left hand behind you. The right hand can find that left knee. Nice little twist here that gives you time to notice what's going on in your back. You can look over your left shoulder and then back over your right shoulder a few times, just turning the head left and right, getting into that rotation of the cervical spine, the neck. And then we'll inhale, hands back to center, sitting up nice and tall and twisting. And as you exhale, we'll twist to the right. And you can drop your right hand behind you, left hand to that right knee. And again, just finding every inhale to get tall, maybe looking over the right shoulder and then the left. Just kind of noticing that range of motion and always moving within pain-free ranges of motion. And then we'll untwist, hands to heart. We'll bring the fingertips to the floor. You're going to take the right leg and take it behind you. So left knee is going to stay kind of where it is, left shin in front of you, and the right leg is going to come back. So you might want to come off of your blanket here, but you might stay on it. So we're creating this little pinwheel shape. You could also slide that blanket just up underneath your right glute. We're going to do a little bit of hip strengthening here for a moment. So bring your fingertips to the floor outside your left knee. So you're kind of leaning forward here. We don't want to collapse in. We really want to feel kind of chest over knee. You could bring blocks up underneath your hands or even up underneath your forearms here. We're going to focus on your right hip. So the right foot's on the floor, the right knee's on the floor, and the right hip is what we're going to be focusing on here. We're going to see if we can pick up that right foot and then lower it back down. So inhale to pick it up off the floor. Mine's only coming up about an inch or two. Yours may not come up as high or it may come up higher. So inhale to lift the foot, exhale to lower, and we'll do several of these really slow. So just kind of getting into that hip, outer hip, that glute medius, strengthening it in internal rotation. You might feel a little tinge of engagement there, or it might be pretty edgy. We'll do several of these. And we'll do one more. And then walk your hands back in, roll up, and we'll switch. So you can bring the right foot in towards you, swing the left leg around, and then creating this little pinwheel shape. And again, your fingertips are walking kind of forward, surrounding your right knee. So not way back, but a little bit leaning forward so that you can start to focus on this left foot. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. So my body, I get a lot higher in my left hip or my left foot lifting up off the floor. My right foot got about an inch or two off. My left foot's coming about more inches, 7, 8. Just a little more internal rotation in my left hip. So you might notice some differences as well, or you might notice that they feel exactly the same. Keeping that slow, rhythmic movement here. And we'll do one more. And then release. You can bring that left foot back around, and then the right foot finds the earth as well. We'll take a few little gentle windshield wipers here. And my knees aren't going very far, and yours might not go as far or might go further. And then we'll make our way into a child's pose. So take your time to get there. Well, hello. Are you still yelling, mister? Can you move, please, so I can take a child's pose? Excuse me. And as you sink into your balasana, hips toward heels, the arms can be forward or next to you or down alongside your body. Take a few breaths here to breathe right into that back body. And then we'll walk the hands forward if they're not there already, and take a side bend, walking both hands off the mat to the left. You can reach a little further through your right fingertips. You might cross your right hand all the way on top of the left. Your head might be floating slightly, or it might be grounded. Hi. And then we'll walk the hands through center and off the mat to the right. Please don't eat my mat. Excuse me. Stretching through the left side body. Really reaching through the left fingers, especially the pinky. And then we'll walk the hands to center and walk the hands up. So we're going to keep the knees a little bit separated here, big toes touching. And you could grab a block or two to sit on, or you could even grab a bolster to sit on so that you take a little bit of the pressure out of the knees. We're going to, again, take the knees a little bit wide, bring fingertips to the floor, but without collapsing. And we'll start to reach the left arm up and open, and then bring it back. And then reach the right arm up and open, and then bring it back. So a few of these in each direction, long spine. And if you want to sit upright instead of leaning forward, if that makes it a little bit more gentle for you, you can do that. And if you're leaning forward, again, we want to try not to collapse, especially into that low back. I'm just peeling that left arm up and bringing it back. Peeling the right arm up and bringing it back. One more each side. And then we'll remove anything out from under us and walk forward into our tabletop. Stretch the right leg back with the toes curled under. Press back through the heel, and you can rock forward and back a few times. Getting into that calf, that Achilles. And we'll bring the right knee back in and do the left leg. Stretch it back, toes curled under. Press back and forth a few times. And then bringing that left knee back in for your tabletop for several cat-cow. So inhaling as the belly drops, the gaze and hips lift, exhale to round. And we'll do one more. Cow on inhale, cat on exhale. And curl those toes, lift your hips up, find your downward facing dog. Maybe coming way up on your tiptoes a couple times, or maybe bending both knees a lot, or any other movement here. And we'll lower those knees back to the floor. Walk your hands forward, find a downward facing puppy. Your forehead might hit the floor. Not hit. It might rest on the floor or a block, or it might be floating. Don't let your forehead hit the floor. And then we'll bend the elbows and come on to your legs for Sphinx pose. And then you might walk your elbows forward a little bit if this feels like too much extension, which it does for me in this moment. So walking those elbows forward slightly, maybe energizing the legs. 2 more breaths here in Sphinx. And then as you're ready, lower all the way down onto your belly. You can wag the tail. You can bend your knees at windshield wiper. So we'll take the arms down alongside your body. Turn your palms down to the earth. Head is to center, so it'll either be on your chin or your forehead. And as you inhale, we'll lift into locust. And as you exhale with control, lower down. So a little locust flow here. Inhale to lift. Legs engaged, upper backs engaged, glutes engaged. Exhale, lower. Inhale to lift, reaching the back of the head straight up rather than the chin forward. Inhale, lift. Excuse me. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Last one. And lower. Bring your hands back by your under your chin or your forehead. Apparently it's lunchtime and somebody is impatient. A little wag of the tail. And then we'll prop back up into Sphinx. So after that little activation, the Sphinx might feel a little bit more comfortable. You may still want to walk your elbows forward a little bit. Taking several breaths here. You can check back in with the neck. You could also bend the knees if you want a little bit more here. And then we'll re-straighten the legs. If you took them bent, walk your hands back. Find an inhale to lift into any height of cobra. And as you exhale through hands and knees or plank, Back to downward facing dog. Lowering the knees back to the floor. We'll take a little flowing balancing cat. As you inhale, reach the right leg back. Maybe the left arm also reaches forward. And as you exhale, bring it back down, hands and knees. Inhale, the right arm reaches forward, left leg reaches back. And exhale, hands and knees. So finding this flow of breath, opposite arm, opposite leg. And minimize your wobble by drawing into the midline. Unclench the jaw. Finding that rhythm of your breath. You're very needy this morning. Not you guys. This guy. You guys are fine. Do one more with the right arm, right leg, left arm. One more with the left leg, right arm. And then sink it back into child's pose. We'll walk the hands back and come to standing on your knees. You can roll yourself up slowly. Bring the hands to heart center. And we'll step the right foot forward into a low lunge and reach those arms overhead. So take a few breaths here in this first low lunge, energizing your left glute, feeling that nice long spine here. We'll take cactus arms, lift the chest, and then pulse the elbows back a few times. Feeling a little stretch to the chest and activation of the upper back. And then the arms will reach back overhead. Drop the hands back to the heart. And we'll step that right knee back to meet the left. Bring the hands to the low back, little baby camel here. Not a big camel, little bitty camel. Lift the chest, press the hips forward, little extension. Almost like locust, but on the knees. And then use your low belly to bring yourself back upright. Find those nice natural curves of your spine. Hands drop to your heart, and we'll step the left foot forward into that low lunge. Arms reach. Again, kind of settle into the lunge for a few breaths. And then open them up into cactus arms and pulse the elbows back, really drawing the shoulder blades together. Unclenching the jaw. And the arms reach back overhead. As your hands drop back to your heart, left knee comes back to meet the right. Hands find the low back and press the hips forward, lift the chest. Baby camel. Pull the low belly in to come back up to stand, and then, or come up to your knees, and then we will come to stand. So right foot can step forward, and then the left. If you need to use your hands to stand, totally fine. However you need to come up, but working on maybe rising without using your hands. Excuse me. Pollen has arrived. So as you find your mountain pose, take a few breaths here to find your feet, to find your stability, to feel rooted. Notice how you're standing, whether the pelvis is tilted forward or back, and see if you can find that nice neutral spine. Maybe shake out the head no, just to make sure you're not clenching in the jaw or in the back of the neck. We'll shrug the shoulders way up toward the ears, and then as you exhale, just let them drop. And again, shrug those shoulders way up, and then exhale, let them drop. One more time. And then a little wiggle. And bounce out the knees, bounce out the forearms, the wrists. You can take the feet a little further away, little hips. Just getting into that energetic body a little bit. You can bounce, you can lift the heels and bounce the heels, or keep the heels grounded. Just moving energy around, moving lymph. This is helping circulation, getting the joints lubricated. So it's not just the energetic that works in this kind of qigong bouncing, but lymph is moving, circulation is going, blood flow. And then as you find stillness, notice. As you turn and face the long edge of the mat, you can step out wide. We'll take a few little shifts of your hips left and right. So toes are pointed to the long edge of the mat. You can bring your hands to your hips and just shift your hips left and right, just slowly to notice that mobility. And then as you find neutral, right down over the midline, arms can reach up overhead. Take hold of your right wrist, take a side bend left, and a wide-legged stance. Inhale to rise up, switch it out, take hold of your left wrist, exhale, side bend right. Inhale to rise up, switch it out, exhale, side bend left. Drawing yourself back up, switch it out, side bend to the right. Rising up, take those cactus arms again, and we'll twist left and right. So you can turn your palms toward one another so that the thumbs are facing back as you twist left and right, slowly with your upper back. Your pelvis might move as well, so you don't have to lock your pelvis forward and not let the low back be involved. You can let that low back freely move, as well as your upper back. One more left, one more right. And then we'll turn your heels in, turn your palms back forward, straighten your knees or bend the knees for goddess pose. We'll drop your left forearm to the left thigh and reach your right arm over. So a little goddess with a side bend. A couple of breaths here. You could bring your right hand to the back of the head or keep it reaching. It could even go to 12 o'clock or drop to the low back. As you inhale, rise up, straighten the legs, reach your arms out. Big 5-pointed star here. Next time that you exhale, we'll take goddess again, bending the elbows, bending the knees, and then your right forearm. We'll find your right thigh, and the left arm can reach over, reach up, hand to the back of the head, or drop the hand to the low back. Breathing into that left side body. And the next time you inhale, straighten the legs, reach your arms up, get really tall, bring the back of the hands to the head, and lift the chest. Lift the gaze, drawing the shoulder blades together. Release the arms out like a T, kick your left heel out, turn your right toes forward, and we'll pulse in and out of warrior two, bending and straightening your right leg, keeping that body, your torso right over the midline here. The arms can drop if they're getting tired. Keeping that back leg really grounded and active and straight. And last one. And turn those toes back toward the long edge of the mat. Bring your hands to heart center. Inhaling here, exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Your hands can find the floor, your ankles, or some blocks, or a chair, or a couch, or a coffee table, whatever you got. And we'll turn those heels back inside the toes, bend the knees, lift the heart like a linebacker. Exhale, turn the heels back out, straighten the legs and fold. Again, turn the heels in, bend the knees, look forward, you're on your fingertips. Exhale, straighten the legs as the heels turn back outside your toes. 2 more. Heels turn in, bend the knees, belly's engaged. So the fingertips are on the floor, but they don't have to be. And then exhale. Straighten the legs, turn the heels back out. 1 more. Bend those knees, turn the heels in. And exhale, straighten the legs and turn the heels back out. Bring your hands up to your hips. Slowly rise up. Take the arms out like a T. Left toes turn toward the short edge of the mat, and we'll bend and straighten that left knee into warrior two several times. So these kind of pulsing in and out of warrior two is really good for kind of arthritis in the knee joint or the hip joint rather than the longer held. Sometimes it just feels nice to move, always within pain-free ranges of motion. And then we'll re-straighten that left leg. Turn all 10 toes to face forward. Hands to heart center. Inhale here. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. And again, your hands can find the blocks, your ankles. You might interlace your fingers behind your low back this time or grab a strap for a shoulder stretch. And bringing the hands back to the blocks or to the floor. Bend your right knee a little. Through center, bend your left knee a little. Going back and forth. Maybe staying in these shallow bends, really controlled and slow. You might begin to bend those knees a little bit deeper. I'm staying shallow, but you're free to bend as far as you like. And then finding your last bend in your right and the last bend in the left. Walk the hands in. You can walk the hands up to your thighs to roll up, or you can bring your hands to your hips to roll up. We'll bring the feet back together. And find mountain pose back toward the front edge of the mat. Take a moment here. And we'll bring the hands to the heart. Inhale here. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, straighten the legs. Reach your arms up. Come up on your tiptoes. And exhale, lower the heels, hands to the heart, and sink into chair. So a few of these flowing way up on your tiptoes as you inhale, arms reach. Hands drop back to the heart. Bend the knees for chair. So your chair can be little or big. And your coming up on your tiptoes can be little or big. Notice your balance system kind of working for you here. And we'll do one more. Finding your mountain pose again. Finding that stillness. Inhale those arms up. Exhale to fold. Step your feet back. Lift your hips into downward facing dog. And we'll inhale to plank and exhale to lower back down onto the belly. So we'll take those arms down alongside the body again. This time when we do locust, we're going to hold it. So whenever you're ready, inhale and lift. Legs, arms, chest, back of the head. Reach fingertips back, toes reach back. Feel that whole back body engaged, whole front body opening up. One more inhale, lift a little higher. And exhale, release, a little wag of the tail. Feeling some nice smooth belly breaths here. And let's do one more. So you can do the exact same thing, arms down, or this time you could interlace your fingers behind your low back. When you're ready, lifting up into locust, reaching fingers and toes or knuckles back. Maybe shake out the head no. Unclench the jaw. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. One more deep breath in. Exhale, release. We'll bend the right knee up for half frog. So right knee comes up towards your right elbow. And straightening out your right leg. And we'll bend the left for half frog. And as you straighten your left leg back out, you can prop back up into Sphinx. It's been a while since we did Sphinx. So you can check back in. Maybe this time it's a little bigger, maybe it's smaller. You might bend your knees. You might straighten your elbows this time into seal. You can turn the hands away from each other, fingers pointed out to the corners of the room to straighten those elbows, or not. And then grab a block and place it in front of you so that you can rest your forehead on it. But before you rest your forehead on it, thread the right arm under you and then let your forehead come to rest on your block. So the left hand can stay kind of in that Sphinx position, even though you're kind of releasing down on to your right shoulder, stretching out through the right delt, the upper back. Or if you want a little more, you could take your left arm and let it rest on your low back, palm up. That's going to give you a little bit more weight into that right shoulder. We'll bring that left arm back into Sphinx position. Gingerly press yourself up and unwind, bringing that right arm out, finding Sphinx again for a moment. And then we'll let that left arm thread under. Forehead rests on the block. The right arm can stay right where it is. Or again, if you need that little extra sensation, you can bring your right arm down around to your low back with the palm up, and you'll feel a little bit extra weight drawing you into gravity. Bringing your right arm back to that Sphinx position so you can use it to press yourself up and Free your left arm back into Sphinx pose. And then right where you are, you can flip over onto your back. Have a block nearby. And we'll take a nice full body stretch here. And then taking your arms out like a T or in cactus arms, we'll bring feet to the floor, knees pointed up. You might want a blanket under the head here, especially if the neck feels tight. We'll cross your right knee over your left and let the knees float left. A little flowing twist here. Bring the knees up through center. Switch the cross, left over right, and let the knees fall right. So just going back and forth here with your body, switching the cross on inhale, letting the knees float in one direction as you exhale. Just noticing how the hips and the low back feel as you rotate that lower back, trying to keep the opposite shoulder grounded, but it might float up a little bit. That's okay. And the next time that the knees float right, we'll stay in the twist, and you can keep those legs crossed for your twist or uncross them for a different twist of your choosing. And as you untwist, keep the knees as they are, right knee crossed over left, and we'll pick up the feet and take hold of the shins or the ankles for reclining shoelace. If you feel like you need more in this, you could rock up to a seat and do a seated shoelace, knee over knee, right knee on top. And as you slowly come out of this, either rolling back onto your back or releasing feet to the floor, uncross the legs. Take a couple little windshield wipers here before we do that twist in the opposite direction. Now left knee will cross your right, and then you'll let your knees fall right. Finding the twist first. And again, if you don't love the crossed knees, stacked knees are fine. And slowly untwisting, bringing yourself out of the twist, but keeping the knees as they are. You can pick up the feet and draw those knees in towards you, grabbing knees, shins, or ankles, or you could roll up to that seated shoelace if you feel like you need just a little bit extra for that, mostly left hip, but depending on your body, maybe the right hip as well. And slowly releasing out, back onto the back if you're not there. Hug those knees in. If you've got a strap, grab that. You don't have to have one. You could use anything, including your hands. We'll take the left foot to the floor and interlace your fingers behind your right knee as you straighten the right leg, or you can use your strap, a towel, a tie, something around your right foot to make it a little bit easier to keep that leg up. Left leg can stretch out. We didn't do a whole lot for the hamstrings today other than a few down dogs. And then we'll switch it out. So you can put the left foot in and release the right, or you can release the right and then straighten the left. Using either your hands behind the knee or something around the sole of the foot. That right foot can stay on the floor, knee pointed up, or you can stretch that right leg long and straight. And then releasing that left foot back down. You can set the strap off to the side, draw your knees in, give yourself a little squeeze. I'm going to give you a choice for your last pose. And it's going to kind of depend on where in your body you're feeling some tightness. So either supported bridge with a block up underneath your sacrum on any level, or supported fish with a block up underneath your shoulder blades. So your choice. If you're in supported bridge with that block under the sacrum, nothing under the head. If you take supported fish, you might want a second block under the head or a blanket. So either the upper back's lifted to get a stretch through the chest, or the lower back's lifted to get a stretch through the hip flexors. So I'm going to let you choose that. If you're in fish, you could take soles of the feet together, knees open. If you're in bridge, you could stretch out the legs or take waterfall, letting the legs stretch, which will take it out of the hip flexors a bit. So we'll be here for about 2 minutes. So you've got time to do a couple different versions of this if you like. If you're in supported fish, you could also use a bolster underneath you or a blanket rolled up instead of blocks. It just kind of depends on where you're tightest. If you're tight in both, you could take one and then I'll let you know when we're halfway through and you could take the other. That way you don't have to worry about picking the wrong one because you have time for both. So that's about halfway. If you decide you want to come out of the one you picked first and do the other, or maybe varying the one that you did. If you did supported bridge, maybe waterfall now, or stay right where you are. How much can you soften into gravity here? Whenever you're ready, you can come off any prop that you're on, finding either a nice full body stretch or one last hug or a happy baby. Maybe taking a nice full breath through the nose and sighing it out. If you did that, it may have felt good. So maybe one more. Inhale through the nose. And then releasing into your Shavasana, your final relaxation. Letting go of your breath. And allowing the body a chance to rest. Gently making your way back. First to your breath and then your body. Taking your time. Wiggle, stretch. Whenever you're ready, you can bring yourself back. Maybe rolling to one side first and then to the seat, or just rolling your way up. As you find that comfortable seat, take a moment to notice the effects of your practice, wherever those effects may be. And I thank you, as always, for joining me. Have a beautiful rest of your day. The light in me honors the light in you.